You stand alone, and the world tells you this is a failure. Society hisses in your ear that without the validation of others, you are nothing. But who dictates these laws? Who decrees that solitude is a curse and not a crown? The masses, forever clinging to the illusion of belonging, fear the abyss of their own minds. They are desperate for company, not out of love, but out of terror of themselves. But you who walk without a hand to hold, you are different. You stand at the precipice of something far greater than camaraderie. You stand at the threshold of power. For the solitary man is the only man who knows himself. Friendship is a comfort, but comfort is the enemy of transformation. The greatest minds, the most formidable spirits, have all walked alone. Nietzsche, Van Gogh, Tesla, names whispered in reverence, not because they sought companionship, but because they refused to be deluded by it. Society calls you lonely to chain you, to drag you back into its suffocating embrace. But what is loneliness? It is not the absence of others, it is the absence of purpose. And purpose is born in the silent chambers of the self, not in the noise of shallow connection. They pity you because they cannot understand you. They fear you because they cannot control you. They mock you because they are terrified of what you represent, a being untamed, unshackled, unbroken. They need the chatter of others to drown out their doubts. But you drink in the silence like a conqueror surveying his dominion. The world wants you to be afraid of your own company because if you embrace it, you will no longer be manipulated. You will no longer chase meaningless approval or beg for scraps of attention. You will be whole. And a whole man is a dangerous man. So stand tall in your solitude. Feel its weight like a sword in your hands. You are not lost. You are not forgotten. You are becoming. And those who fear to walk alone will never understand what it means to be truly free. The chains of friendship, how they hold you back. They call them friends. You call them your past. They laugh with you, they reminisce, they remind you of who you were, not who you are becoming. And in this endless cycle of familiarity, you remain trapped, bound not by iron, but by expectation. They do not want you to grow. They want you to remain the person they once knew, because your transformation is their terror. A man who outgrows his friendships outgrows his chains. But they will not let you leave so easily. They will mask their control in the guise of loyalty, in the illusion of love. They will say, remember where you came from, but what they truly mean is, do not forget the version of you that made us comfortable. You owe them nothing. Not your time, not your energy, not your submission to their nostalgia. Friendship, when it does not evolve, is a prison. They will mock your ambition, not because they do not believe in it, but because it forces them to see their own stagnation. Your growth is a mirror they do not wish to look into. Your departure is a wound they refuse to accept. So they will hold you, guilt you, drown you in memories of a version of yourself that should have already died. But you are not that person anymore. You are something greater, something untamed. And to step fully into your power, you must abandon the ghosts that call themselves your friends. Let them weep for the past, for the man who no longer exists. Let them speak your name in nostalgia, while you carve it into history. They will say you have changed. Take it as the highest compliment. The illusion of connection, why your worth is beyond the crowd. A man drowning in the sea of voices is not a man at all. He is an echo, a fading whisper lost in the noise of countless others. They tell you that your value is measured by your connections, by the number of hands shaken, by the endless parade of names in your contact list. But tell me, what is the worth of 1,000 shadows that disappear when the light fades? You are not measured by the crowds that surround you, but by the depth of your solitude. The weak cling to numbers because they fear the void of their own insignificance. They believe that more faces, more meaningless conversations, more fleeting interactions will somehow build them into something greater. But no empire was ever built on borrowed voices. No philosopher ever found truth in the endless buzzing of the hive. No king was ever crowned by the approval of the masses. The world has convinced you that to be alone is to be worthless. That without validation from others, you are nothing. This is the greatest lie of our time. The man who stands alone is not forgotten, he is feared. Because he does not need the empty noise of acquaintances, the shallow praise of strangers, the validation of a world that does not even know itself. His worth is not dependent on recognition. He is defined by his depth, by the weight of his thoughts, by the power of his solitude. Look around you. The people you chase today will vanish tomorrow. Their admiration is fickle, their words meaningless, their loyalty temporary. They do not know themselves, so how could they ever know you? And yet you have been trained to seek their approval, to measure your existence by their attention, to believe that without them, you are lesser. But the truth is clear: the more you need them, the less you are. Imagine, for a moment, stepping beyond this illusion. Imagine standing at the peak of a mountain, with nothing but the wind and your thoughts. Imagine a life where your mind is your kingdom, where your power comes not from the number of people who know your name, but from the depth of the silence that surrounds you. This is where true value is forged, not in the marketplace of human validation, but in the solitude where only the strong dare to stand. The masses seek comfort in each other because they fear facing themselves. They drown in the shallow waters of collective existence, terrified of the abyss that lies beneath. But you, if you have the courage, will dive deeper. You will strip away the illusion that numbers grant meaning, that a man is only as valuable as the number of others who acknowledge him. You will understand that true power is not found in the crowd. It is found in the void, in the silence, in the mind sharpened by solitude. Let them count their friends. Let them measure their worth in borrowed words and passing glances. You have no need for such things. Your life is not a collection of names. It is an unfolding of thought, a deepening of self, a relentless march toward the man you are meant to become. You are not here to be known. You are here to be great. No one owes you anything, and that is your liberation. You have been deceived. Since birth, they have whispered to you that the world owes you kindness, that your suffering will be met with sympathy, that your struggles will summon rescuers. They have filled your mind with the poisonous illusion that somewhere, someone is responsible for your happiness, your success, your survival. And so you wait. You wait for understanding, for validation, for the outstretched hand that will lift you from the depths of your despair. But that hand will not come. It never existed. And the moment you accept this, you will feel something unexpected: freedom. The world does not care for your pain. The universe is indifferent to your hunger, your dreams, your battles. No one is obligated to understand you, to support you, to lift you from the dirt. And that is the greatest gift you could ever receive. Because the moment you abandon this illusion of entitlement, you stop being a beggar at the doorstep of life. You become its master. You will see those who still live in the dream. They will cry out in anger, blaming others for their misfortunes. They will curse the world for not rewarding their suffering. They will waste their existence demanding fairness, as if life has ever been fair to anyone. These people will remain weak because they refuse to accept the brutal, magnificent truth: you are alone, and no one owes you anything. But in this aloneness, there is power. Because if no one is coming to save you, then there is nothing holding you back. No debts to collect, no false hopes to cling to, no invisible chains of expectation weighing you down. You are free to carve your own path, to rise without waiting for permission, to create a life that is yours alone. This world belongs to those who take it, not to those who expect it to be given. You can weep for the kindness you did not receive, or you can become so strong that kindness becomes irrelevant. You can curse those who abandoned you, or you can be grateful that they taught you self-reliance. You can rage against the unfairness of existence, or you can embrace the raw, merciless beauty of a life where everything is up to you. The weak will pity themselves. The strong will sharpen themselves. And you, if you have the courage, will walk away from the illusion that you are owed anything at all. You will not beg. You will not wait. You will not expect. You will take. Because no one owes you anything. And that means everything is yours to claim. Friendship, a lie you tell yourself. You call them friends. You gather them around you. You share your laughter, your secrets, your victories. You convince yourself that you are understood, that these bonds are real, that they mean something. But strip away the sentiment, and what remains? A mirror, one that does not reflect truth, but rather the illusion you wish to see. Friendship, as most experience it, is not a connection of souls. It is a desperate construction, a carefully woven fabric of mutual convenience. You do not seek companionship, you seek validation. You do not crave understanding, you crave applause. The presence of others reassures you that you exist, that you matter. And so you keep them close, not because they elevate you, but because they shield you from the abyss of your own insignificance. But what are these friendships made of? Fleeting pleasures, shared moments, shallow affirmations. They tell you what you wish to hear. They confirm your biases, indulge your weaknesses, celebrate your mediocrity. They do not push you to evolve. They soothe you into stagnation. You mistake their presence for meaning, but it is only a distraction, a warm, comforting lie. True connection is rare. Almost no one will ever truly know you. Because to know someone is to see beyond the mask, to witness the raw, unfiltered mind beneath. And that is too dangerous, too unsettling. So friendships remain surface level, a polite dance of half-truths and unspoken fears. No one says what they mean. No one shows who they are. Because if they did, the illusion would crumble, and both would be left staring into the void, alone. Most people would rather die than face that loneliness. They cling to others, desperate to avoid the silence. They mistake company for purpose. They would rather live in a comforting lie than stand in the unbearable truth. They were always alone. But you, if you are willing, can break free. You can strip away the illusion and see friendship for what it truly is: a mask, a transaction, a barrier between you and the truth of yourself. You do not need validation. You do not need approval. You do not need the empty reassurances of others to confirm your existence. The strongest minds, the most formidable spirits, have always walked alone, not because they despised others, but because they refused to be deceived. They did not seek comfort, they sought truth. They did not ask to be understood. They became something beyond understanding. So ask yourself, do you truly need friends? Or have you merely been afraid to stand without them? The solitary ones, why the most dangerous and powerful walk alone? A man who stands alone stands untouchable. He has no chains, no obligations, no fragile bonds that can be twisted against him. He does not wake each morning wondering how to satisfy the expectations of others, how to maintain the illusion of belonging, how to shrink himself into something more palatable for the comfort of the weak. He exists beyond their grasp, beyond their rules, beyond their limitations. And that is why he is feared. The world demands attachment. It thrives on dependency, on the unspoken agreement that every man must be tethered to something, to friendships, to family, to duty, to approval. This is how control is maintained. Because a man with ties is a man with weaknesses. He hesitates. He fears loss. He bends under the weight of obligation. He allows himself to be manipulated, because to resist would mean risking that which he holds dear. He is powerful only within the boundaries allowed to him. But the solitary man owes nothing. He does not seek validation, so it cannot be denied to him. He does not beg for understanding, so he cannot be wounded by rejection. He does not shape himself to fit the desires of the many, so no one can dictate his form. He moves with the precision of a blade, unburdened by the dull weight of attachment. History has been shaped by men who understood this truth. The conqueror, the philosopher, the visionary. All those who carved their names into eternity did so not because they were surrounded, but because they were alone. Caesar, Napoleon, Nietzsche, Tesla. Their minds were fortresses, inaccessible to the trivial concerns of the common man. They were not distracted by the need to be liked. They were not weakened by the desire to belong. They existed beyond the reach of sentimentality, and that made them untouchable. The world will call you cold. They will say you are ruthless, distant, impossible to reach. Let them. It is the lament of those who still beg for approval, who still define themselves by the reflections of others. You are not here to be understood. You are not here to be accepted. You are here to become something greater than the sum of weak connections. A man without attachment is a man without fear. A man without fear is unstoppable. And an unstoppable man does not seek power, he becomes it. Erase the unnecessary, cut the threads that weaken you. Your phone is heavy, not with its weight, but with the ghosts it carries. Names that once mattered, conversations that once felt important, connections that now exist only as digital relics of a past that no longer serves you. And yet, you keep them. You let them linger, as if their presence alone grants them meaning. But let me tell you a truth you already suspect. These people will not remember you when it matters. They will not be there when the storm arrives. They will not stand beside you when the ground crumbles beneath your feet. In your darkest hours, their names will be nothing but distant echoes, their voices silent, their hands absent. Not out of cruelty, not out of malice, but because they were never truly bound to you in the first place. They were convenience, not loyalty, decoration, not foundation. And yet, you hold on to them as if their presence alone validates your existence. Why do you hesitate? Why do you cling to dead connections, to empty conversations, to meaningless attachments that drain you rather than strengthen you? You are not a collector of names. You are not a museum for relationships that have long lost their purpose. Every unnecessary contact in your life is a weight, and every weight slows your ascent. Look at the great minds, the true forces of history. They did not waste themselves maintaining the illusion of connection. They were ruthless with their focus, merciless with their time. They understood what you must now accept. The fewer the distractions, the sharper the blade. So cut without hesitation. Erase the numbers that no longer serve you. Let the meaningless conversations fade into nothing. Purge your life of the dead weight of forgotten acquaintances, of lukewarm friendships, of those who will not bleed for you when the time comes. In doing so, you will reclaim something far more valuable than their empty presence. You will reclaim yourself. And when they finally notice your absence, when they realize that you have vanished from the crowd, they will not mourn you. They will not chase after you. They will simply replace you. And you, having freed yourself from their grasp, will rise higher than they ever could. Stop seeking approval or die as a shadow. If you live for recognition, you do not live at all. You exist, yes, but only as a reflection of others' expectations, a puppet moved by invisible strings, a man who has exchanged his soul for applause. You wear the mask they prefer. You speak the words they wish to hear. You shape yourself into something digestible, something acceptable, something that will not disturb the fragile order of their world. And in doing so, you become nothing. You betray yourself for a nod of approval. You silence your own thoughts so that others may remain comfortable. You suffocate your instincts, your desires, your very essence, just to belong. But tell me, what is the cost of this belonging? What have you given away in exchange for their fleeting smiles, their meaningless compliments, their shallow recognition? You have given away yourself. You become a slave not through chains, but through the desperate need to be liked. You become weak the moment you place value in their opinions. They will mold you, reshape you, strip you of everything sharp and untamed until you are no longer a force, no longer an individual, but simply another compliant member of the herd. A domesticated soul, safe, predictable, and utterly forgettable. The great minds, the ones who carved their names into eternity, did not beg to be liked. They did not bow to the whims of the masses. They were hated. They were ridiculed. They were feared. And yet, they moved the world. They were exiled, yet they shaped empires. They were rejected, yet their words became scripture. They were burned, yet their ideas remained immortal. Because they did not ask for permission to exist. They dared to exist. So why do you shrink yourself to fit into the small, pathetic mold that others have prepared for you? Why do you waste a single breath seeking approval from those who do not matter, whose opinions are as fleeting as dust in the wind? Live brutally. Live honestly. Speak the words that others are too afraid to say. Walk the path that terrifies the weak. Let them misunderstand you. Let them despise you. Let them whisper your name with fear or admiration, but never indifference. Because the man who does not seek approval cannot be controlled. He cannot be bent, cannot be broken, cannot be erased. He is a force, not a shadow. And the world does not remember shadows. Use solitude as a springboard to greatness. While the world spins its web of distractions, while the masses chatter endlessly, concerned only with the trivialities of the day, you stand alone. You do not seek the company of fools who waste their time in the endless noise of shallow exchanges. You do not crave the validation of those whose existence is rooted in the temporary and the insignificant. Instead, you choose solitude, a state that others fear, but one that, if embraced, can become the crucible from which greatness is forged. In the quiet of solitude, you are free. Free from the shackles of society's expectations. Free from the mindless gossip that clutters the minds of the weak. The world around you is a whirlpool of activity, but none of it touches you. You are untouched by the frivolity, unscathed by the meaningless chatter. And in this space, this precious silence, you create. You build. You innovate. You become something others can never understand. The weak cannot fathom this. They see solitude as a prison, a punishment. They cannot comprehend how anyone could stand in the stillness, alone with their thoughts, without crumbling under the weight of loneliness. But you are different. You understand that in the silence, there is a power that the masses will never know. While they engage in endless discussions, squandering their time on trivialities, you shape your future. You refine your craft. You perfect the art that will one day shake the world to its core. The truly great do not wait for the world to hand them opportunities. They do not seek approval. They do not beg for attention. They use their solitude as a weapon, as a foundation upon which to build their legacy. They understand that the noise of the world is not something to engage with, it is something to rise above. While they spend their hours caught in the web of social media, in shallow exchanges, in the pursuit of meaningless approval, you work. You create. You transform the isolation into the seed of something that will one day tower above all else. You do not waste your time on empty connections. You spend your hours perfecting your vision, refining your thoughts, shaping your purpose. When the world finally takes notice, when they see what you have built in the quiet, in the solitude, they will be in awe. They will wonder how it was possible, how you were able to achieve such greatness while they were lost in the chaos of the mundane. They will never understand the true value of solitude, that in the silence, while they wasted their time on the inconsequential, you became something more. And when the time comes, when you have created the impossible, when your greatness stands as a monument in the middle of the world's noise, they will look at you with envy and wonder how they could have been so blind. You will know, though. You will know that while they were lost in the chatter of the world, you are forging a legacy that will last long after the last word is spoken. Your energy is worth more than empty conversations. Your energy is not an endless resource. It is finite. Every moment you spend, every thought you give, every ounce of your vitality poured into meaningless exchanges is an opportunity lost, a piece of yourself squandered. The world is full of the shallow and the mundane, full of those who wish to drag you into their useless chit-chat, their endless empty noise. And what do you gain from it? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. But you are a being of rare value. You are not like them, not like the masses who waste their existence drowning in the trivialities of small talk and idle gossip. Your energy, your attention, is your greatest gift, and it must be guarded fiercely. You cannot afford to waste it on those who cannot offer you anything in return. Their words are hollow, their presence fleeting. They have nothing to offer you but distraction, a drain on your most precious resource. And yet, you allow them to steal from you. You allow yourself to be pulled into their webs of emptiness. You listen, you engage, you bend your energy toward them as though they are worthy of it. But you know deep down that they are not. You know that their words do not lift you, do not challenge you, do not ignite your soul. They simply sap you, drain you, leave you emptier than before. The truly great know the value of their energy. They do not waste it on those who cannot elevate them, on those who do not inspire, who do not challenge, who do not give back. They reserve their most sacred gift for those who will push them to greatness, for the ideas that will shape the future, for the work that will leave a mark on the world. They do not have time for the trivial, for the endless chatter that does nothing but fill the air with noise. So ask yourself, how much is your energy worth? How much of it will you allow to slip away into conversations that lead nowhere, into relationships that offer no nourishment? How much more could you accomplish if you stopped feeding your time and energy into the void? How much more could you become if you invested only in what truly matters? Your energy is the fire that fuels your greatness. Protect it, preserve it, and stop allowing the empty and the meaningless to consume it. The world does not need more empty chatter. It needs more creators, more thinkers, more visionaries, those who guard their energy and use it to craft something that will last long after the noise is faded. Why friends often hinder more than help. There is a lie we have been sold, a lie that binds us to mediocrity, that friends are here to uplift us, to push us to greatness. But the truth, the brutal truth, is that the more you rely on them, the more you allow them to define your path, the more they keep you chained to comfort. Friends, in their well-meaning ignorance, create a false sense of security. They whisper reassurances when you falter, cushion your blows when you fail, and in doing so, they keep you safe. Safe, yes, but also stagnant. Because greatness does not emerge from the comfort of being safe. It arises from the discomfort of risk, from the sharp edge of uncertainty, from the very chaos that your friends try to shield you from. They keep you within the bounds of your known self. They do not want you to push the boundaries of who you are because doing so threatens their own perception of you. They need you to remain the same because the moment you evolve beyond the person they recognize, they lose their grip on you. Your transformation would force them to confront their own mediocrity. You, the potential for greatness that resides within you, are suffocated by their need to preserve the status quo. They bind you to the predictable, the comfortable, the familiar. They keep you in a box, a well-worn space, where nothing changes and nothing grows. The path to greatness, however, does not lie in familiarity. It lies in the unknown, the unexplored, the uncomfortable. And that is precisely what friends do not want you to experience. If you wish to become more than what you are, you must be willing to abandon the comfort of approval, of validation, of their comforting voices telling you everything will be okay. The truth is, it will not always be okay. The world will challenge you, and your greatest allies in that fight are not the friends who want to shield you from discomfort, but the moments when you are alone, facing the raw truth of your ambition. Friends will keep you where you are, no matter how much they love you. They cannot help you rise because they fear the power you might become. But if you dare to step away from their embrace, if you dare to abandon the soft, nurturing comfort they offer, you'll discover something far greater than their support, your own strength. And that strength will carry you into realms where only those who have left their comfort zones dare to tread. The ultimate test: can you spend a month in complete solitude? If you cannot answer with confidence, if the very thought of being alone for even a single moment sends waves of discomfort through your veins, then you are not living, you are a prisoner. A prisoner to the ghosts of your fears. You have shackled yourself to the illusions of social validation, to the desperate need for others' approval, to the sweet yet poisonous comfort of never being alone. And in this slavery, you have allowed the most insidious master to control you: fear. Solitude is not a punishment, it is a mirror. It shows you exactly who you are beneath the layers of social masks, beneath the endless chatter and noise of human interaction. It exposes your vulnerabilities, your insecurities, your weaknesses, the parts of yourself you have spent a lifetime avoiding. But it also offers you something far greater than comfort. It offers you the chance to confront your very soul, to look into the abyss of your own existence without flinching. Those who fear solitude are not afraid of being alone. They are afraid of facing themselves. They are afraid of discovering how fragile their sense of self truly is. They are afraid that in the silence they will hear the truth, that they have never been truly alone, that they have spent their entire lives running from the depths of their own thoughts, thoughts that now echo louder in the void of silence. But for those brave enough to face this challenge, for those who dare to walk into the solitude without hesitation, the rewards are unimaginable. In the absence of distractions, you begin to hear the whispers of your own desires, your own ambitions, your own purpose. The noise of the world falls away, and in that silence, you find clarity. You realize that you are not defined by others, not shaped by their judgments, not imprisoned by their expectations. You are free. The great ones, the true titans of history, knew this. They understood that to rise above the ordinary, to create something that transcends the mundane, they had to first master themselves in the quiet. They had to learn to stand alone, to be comfortable with their own presence, and to use that solitude as the foundation upon which their greatness would be built. If you cannot endure solitude, if you are unable to face the depth of your own being without fleeing into the distractions of the world, then you will never rise above the crowd. You will remain tethered to the noise, to the chaos, to the distractions that keep you from seeing the truth of who you could be. Embrace the solitude. Use it as a tool. When the fears arise, face them, and know that in overcoming them, you are not simply surviving, you are becoming. Becoming more than what you were, more than what others expect you to be. Solitude is the forge, and you are the flame. If you are bored in solitude, you are a boring person. If the stillness of solitude leaves you restless, anxious, or desperate for distraction, then look no further for the root of your discontent. It is you. It is not the world that is lacking, not the silence that is unbearable, but the fact that you have yet to discover the depth of your own mind. You, in your emptiness, seek to fill the void with noise, with a constant search for external stimuli, because you have not yet realized that you are your greatest source of fascination, your richest well of potential. To be bored in solitude is to admit that you have not cultivated the richness of your own inner life. You have not taken the time to explore the endless landscape of your thoughts, your desires, your capacity for creation. Instead, you seek the fleeting, shallow distractions of the world, looking for something to occupy the empty space because you do not know how to occupy it yourself. You have failed to realize that the greatest adventures, the most profound insights, are not found in the outer world, they are within you. The truly great are never bored in solitude. They do not require the empty noise of the world to occupy their minds, because their minds are filled with the fire of creation, with a thirst for understanding, with the relentless pursuit of self-mastery. They do not seek entertainment because they know that entertainment is a drug, a temporary escape from the reality of their own being. Instead, they engage in the process of becoming more than they were, more than what the world expects them to be. You must stop seeking distractions. Stop searching for the next fleeting form of entertainment to avoid facing the uncomfortable truth that you are not yet who you could be. Instead, turn inward. Take the time to develop your mind, to sharpen your thoughts, to dive into the depths of your consciousness and pull from it the treasures that lie hidden beneath the surface. This is where true satisfaction lies, not in the empty pursuit of shallow pleasure, but in the deep, unyielding work of self-discovery. The quiet is not your enemy. It is your opportunity. It is in silence that the greatest ideas are born, where the most profound realizations occur. But only if you are willing to face the silence with courage, with curiosity, and with the understanding that within it, you are free to become who you were always meant to be. Stop looking to the world to entertain you. Look inward. There, in the silence, lies the potential for greatness. And if you are brave enough to face it, you will never be bored again. Solitude is a gift, but it requires strength. Solitude is not for the weak, the timid, or the fragile. It is a gift, yes, but not a gift for everyone. It is a gift reserved for those who dare to walk the lonely path, those who can endure the silent crucible of their own soul. In solitude, you will be forced to confront all that you have tried to avoid, all that you have buried beneath the noise of society, beneath the distractions of the world. It will strip you of your illusions, force you to see yourself as you truly are, without the comforting mask of others to shield you. This gift demands a rare and precious quality, strength. Strength not in the form of physical might, but in the power to face your own darkness, to embrace the discomfort of being alone with yourself. It takes strength to look inward and find meaning in the void, to build something within the silence that echoes louder than the voices of the crowd. To stand alone, without the crutch of others, without the crutch of constant approval, is to become truly free. But this freedom comes at a cost. You must be strong enough to bear the weight of your own thoughts, to endure the rawness of your own existence without running to others for validation or escape. You must be strong enough to let go of the illusions of belonging, of the comforting falsehoods that tell you that you need others to define who you are. You must be strong enough to say no to the noise, to the distractions, and embrace the silence as a canvas on which to create your own truth. For some, this is an insurmountable challenge. They are not ready to face the depth of their own being, to confront the darkness that lies within. They are too afraid to step into the solitude that would reveal them for who they truly are. They are content with the empty noise of the world, with the fleeting comforts of external validation. But those who are truly ready, those who are brave enough to walk alone, will find that in solitude, they are reborn. Solitude is a fire that refines the soul, that burns away the unnecessary, leaving only the essence of who you are always meant to be. But it demands strength, strength to endure the discomfort, strength to resist the temptation of the familiar, strength to confront the uncomfortable truths that rise to the surface when the world falls away. Are you ready to accept this gift? Are you ready to become stronger, to stand alone, to face the abyss of your own soul and emerge from it transformed? If you are, then solitude will no longer be a curse. It will be your greatest ally, your greatest teacher, your greatest source of power. And in that power, you will find a strength beyond measure, a strength that the world cannot touch. And now, we've reached the conclusion. The secret is simple. Happiness is not the result of how many people are around you, but how deeply you can live with yourself. Let go of illusions, free yourself from the expectations of others, and you will find the freedom that brings true happiness. After all, happiness can be found not through external connections, but through inner harmony. For those who just tuned in and missed the beginning of this stream, we will repeat it. And for those watching the recorded broadcast, you can finish watching or revisit it for better understanding. I hope each of you has taken away valuable ideas and inspiration from this conversation. I wish you strength and courage to be yourself, independent of the opinions of others.